few weeks.
A long time.
Well, we had one recorded, but we had some major technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Like,
Ron left us,
Zero
and the sound
audio.
didn't get recorded.
so this is why we don't run audio visual.
This is why we don't have nice things.
This is
'Cause
why
Ron
we do
leaves us.
this and we don't do that.
Yeah.
So we had an epic fail of a
Yeah.
podcast with Anthony, so we'll have to redo later. But today we have
Super special guest.
head coach Chris Michael and
What's his actual title? Oh. Athletic trainer and equipment manager.
Corey
Courtney.
Everybody just knows Miss Corey.
Yeah.
So Coach Mike's and Corey, they'll be in here in just a few minutes.
Yep.
We have lots of good stuff for them. They don't know it yet, but we're going to do their little Zodiac signs and tell them all about themselves for fun.
Like we do in The Snake and the Rooster.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, thank you so much for sending in all your questions. We got so many good ones for both of them. And that really helps us come up with good stuff, because most of the stuff that we come up with is usually highly inappropriate. So
yeah. We love to have fan engagement, so it's great, especially for like hockey questions and stuff like that. So it should be a fun podcast. We do have lots of questions, so hopefully it's nice and long and get all your stuff answered. And then they also don't know, we'll play a little game. Would you rather? At the end, they don't know about that yet.
Yeah, they tried to be sneaky and get everything out of us before the podcast.
We want to get all the dirt first.
But, you know, we held some information back.
Yeah, so we'll get a few surprises for them that way. So, we'll be... Oh, do we want to cover real quick Journey to the Stars coming up?
Yes. So, Journey to the Stars is coming up super soon. It's July 18th. We're still running as normal. We've got about 30 vendors that are coming out. So yeah, we're super excited. We're going to have concessions open. We're going to have a bar. If you come out, which we really hope you do, we're collecting donations for the Lincoln Stars Foundation, which we use to donate to Kenzie the Cancer Kicker, the Red Cross, Food for the Hungry, other things like that. Like
Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts.
Yeah, some of those big sponsors that we have, the big nonprofit sponsors, that helps us give more to them and to their, you know, mission or whatever they're doing. So come check it out. Maybe wear a mask. It's up to you. Be great. Use some hand sanitizer. Wash your hands. But everyone's super excited. We've got some chiropractors, some sidekicks. I've got a couple cool jewelry vendors coming out. So
all the tables. We have so much space on the floor. They're all spread out, so everybody can keep apart. Concessions are open, bar.
Yeah.
So get a beer.
Come out, have a couple drinks. July 18th, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Come see us, come hang out. We miss you guys. We really want to see you.
Even if you just miss the icebox, you can just
get
a beer, walk around.
Yeah, walk around. We've got
the Blue Stem Health banners up, so if you walk around, make some laps.
Yeah, Blue Stem is actually the sponsor for Journey to the Stars, so thank you so much to them. But we have they made us these cool signs where you can just walk laps around the icebox. So if
6
you just
laps is a mile.
Need to get out of the heat a little bit and want to get some cardio in, you earned a beer. If you walk 6 laps, you earned a beer or a drink of your choice. Yeah. So come hang out.
All right. We're going to cut for 1 minute and get Coach and Corey in here and we'll get going. All right.
Prepare yourselves.
Okay.
So, we're going to start with your Chinese Zodiac. Do you know what that is?
Oh, see, we gotta do everybody's weird signs. So, like, that's how we're the Snake and the Rooster.
Snake and the Rooster.
She's the Rooster. So we're gonna tell you what you are first.
All right.
Okay.
Who wants to go first?
Corey?
All right.
Corey's going first.
Good.
What did you get me into?
I have no idea.
All right, Corey. So you're a water rat.
Okay.
Based on the year you were born, you're a water rat. So your personality, you are intelligent, active, and kind. Do you think that that's accurate?
That's accurate.
To certain people, I think, yeah.
It says you like socializing and you treat people gently and carefully.
That went off the
I don't know
page
about
there.
that.
It also says you have strong adaptability.
I would say that.
And then it says, however, the water rats usually have no good life goals and may not plan their lives out.
What year did you go off for here?
72.
Okay.
Yeah, you're the water rat.
Alright.
72. Damn, you look good for 72.
Thanks, Mike.
Wait, but tell them about the other one.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So then it also says that you have a quick temper and you tend to hurt others unconsciously.
That's probably more along the line. Is that, not, I wouldn't say I'm a socialite. I'm not a socialite.
It's funny, some of the stuff's kind of accurate.
Yeah. And so then your best working partners are the tiger, the rabbit, and the horse. And I don't know.
No, that's nice.
Oh, that's Mike's. Yours is the ox, monkey, and dragon. And I don't know.
Is that the chicken, the pig, and the
Is
cow?
we might have an ox.
I think one of the other coaching staffs was an ox.
Yeah. But I don't think we have any monkeys and dragons in here. It didn't tell me what your worst
So you don't
working
work well
partners
with
were.
anyone.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's false.
Did it tell me what your... Oh. Not bad working partners are the tiger, the rabbit, and the rooster. So we don't work too bad together. Good to know.
Average.
That's what I shoot.
Let's look at that last round of call.
I'll just stand by hole in the water.
Alright.
We should look up what Mitch is. And see how well you two work together.
You should.
I'll have to look that up.
How old was Mitch? Alright, let's go to Mike's.
Okay, Mike's. You're
Much younger. Mike's.
Yeah. You're a water dog.
What was he?
A water
Water
rat.
rat.
A water rat.
Water,
Yeah.
baby. Water.
Aquatic partner.
Water.
Okay, so it says
What am I again? Sorry.
a water dog.
Okay.
Like a hunting dog, like
Yeah.
a Labrador retriever.
Okay.
It says you have a firm will and you're strict with yourself.
Mhm.
And then it says you're very loyal to your friends and family. You have you're serious and responsible in doing things, and you have long-term vision.
I'd say
That's
that's pretty
all right.
accurate.
So that
yeah.
sounds really promising for a hockey team.
Yeah.
Travis has basically told him that he was meant to be a professional athlete. Do you remember that? So all the stars are aligning, literally.
Yeah.
And then, so it says you're self-centered and sometimes selfish. You're pretty stubborn and unwilling to accept opinions and suggestions from others.
That's You're willing to.
I'm willing.
And your
I have
mood,
No.
to certain people.
your mood is unstable and irritable.
That's, I mean, ask any ref in our pretty accurate.
That's a good coaching trait,
Yeah.
right?
And then your best working partners are the tiger, the rabbit, and the horse. And I gotta look up what your worst ones were. Oh, it also says you're good for judicial work. So if this doesn't work out, go to law school.
Perfect. My dad's been telling me that for 38 years.
Your worst working partners are the ox, the dragon, and the sheep. So basically, who Corey works well with, you don't work well with. Oh, I'm a good working partner for you, though, so hey. You're not on any of these.
It's
Sorry.
not on there.
Yeah.
It's just not a good work.
Don't exist. It's fine.
Pretty accurate.
Alright.
Okay.
We always have to start with that nonsense first with everyone.
Yeah.
Just because.
Because it's the
Just
snake
to get
rooster.
Yeah.
Like,
That's how you guys do
yeah,
things,
this
huh?
is how we do it. This
Well
is
done.
part of it.
Well done.
So, now we'll get to the serious stuff.
Yes.
All the questions that everybody wants to know. So we're going to start with Mike's first question. We all know we have a new coaching staff.
Yep.
We've kind of put some stuff out on Facebook, all the social medias with the new roles. But can you kind of just give us a rundown of like all the new staff, all the new assistant coaches, all that, what their roles are and what they're going to be doing and who's going to be on the bench? Who are we going to see?
Well, we'll start Nick Peruzzi. He was our first hire. He's going to be our associate head coach. He'll be on the bench probably every game as much as possible if he's not out doing any scouting. But he'll be responsible for our forwards and our power play, our overall skill development and stuff like that. Our second assistant coach is Michael Sadeo, who, as many Stars fans know, is a former player here and Princeton grad and pro hockey player, and he brings a wealth of experience. He'll be in charge of our defensemen and our penalty kill as well. You'll see him on the bench plenty. And so primarily Nick and Mike, along with Corey and I, will be the guys on the bench. And we also hired Jason Power, who's our goalie coach. He'll be coming in a couple times a month, and just to work with our goalies. He'll be working on, you know, tactical stuff or mental stuff with them when he's gone through video, through Zoom. So that'll be great. If Nick is gone and Jason's here, you might see him on the bench just to fill in for a game or two. And we also hired Connor Court, who is going to be our director of hockey ops. Basically, he's going to be in charge of our video. So this year, which is different than years in the past, we'll have video capability of in between, you know, periods if we need to make adjustments and stuff like that. We'll have a computer being run down to us. So also we have Billy Puglisi, who's our director of scouting, coming in year 3 with us. So we're familiar with him. And then he's got the regional scouts, Frank Kohler and Taylor Hodges, that are kind of based throughout the country and do most of the scouting for us. So that's the premise of our staff. And then obviously we have the guy that does it all, keeps, you know, he's our glue in Corey, but that's our staff.
Perfect. What will be different about your coaching style, and what new changes can we expect to see this season?
I don't know what I'm differentiating against or who I'm against. I guess the way I look at it is it's a fresh start for everybody, right? And I guess my MO to anybody that knows me is highly intense, and our team will be the same way. We're going to be motivated, we're going to work, and we're going to be prepared at all times. But highly competitive is probably the best way I can describe myself and my style, and the style that we're going to expect to see on a daily basis, whether it's practice, game, video, workout, doesn't matter. Our guys are going to be competitive in everything we do.
What do you expect out of our returners? And will you coach them differently this season, being returners?
I'll start with the first part. What do I expect is leaders. I expect guys that come in that are bigger, that are stronger. They're getting the best workouts that any junior hockey, college hockey player is getting on a daily basis from Corey. So we expect their bodies to be a little bit different, a little bit more mature. And we expect them to be a little bit more mature off the ice too, showing the first year guys, or whatever you want to call them, this is how we do things here. You know, and so that's a huge expectation, and we expect them to be ready to go. They know what this thing's all about. They know how hard it is. They know how hard they have to work every day, so they better be setting the tone in that regard. How I'm going to coach them differently, at the end of the day, I go from assistant coach to head coach, so I'm going to be hard on them, probably a little bit harder than I've been in the past, you know, but accountability is for everybody. So am I going to be different to them? No, just because my title changes doesn't mean I'm different to them, but my expectations and the differences on the guy that's going to have to hold them accountable now, so they're going to have to accept that.
Is there different expectations out of returners versus the new incoming players?
From the standpoint of being ready to go, yes, because like I just said, they understand this league. They've been through it. They got their feet wet last year. We're not giving them the time to adjust, so to say. That's the new guys that are coming in for the first time. You give them a little bit of leeway, you give them a little bit of time to adjust, but the teams that start off the right way is truly because your second-year guys, your returners came in with the right mentality, and they taught the young guys at a real quick pace and got you ready to go come the beginning of October.
Okay. What will fans see on the bench? And more kind of like, not just, we already talked about who's going to be on the bench, right? But like, is it going to be calm, cool, and collected? Is there going to be chaos? You're going to throw some clipboards, or like what's
we need to like a chair back there
excitement?
For you to just
like what's that going to be like? Or what can we expect to see? Can we see some excitement on the bench? Or
oh yeah, I think Lincoln Stars hockey, it better be exciting. No, as far as our bench, one thing that I'm a huge believer in and what we're going to do is you'll see our guys sitting, something that you probably haven't seen in the last few years at home. And it's more of a professional approach, just you know, there's peaks and valleys in every game and every moment. So you can't get too high, you can't get too low. You have to be even keel. And I think sitting on the bench shows that and kind of controls the guys. What you'll see from the coaching staff is a lot of intensity, a lot of passion, a lot of teaching. You know, and that's a big thing. Like, we're not gonna. When you see us screaming and yelling, we're not screaming and yelling at demeaning. You know, we're teaching these guys. We're asking them what did they just see, what just happened, what went through your head, and ultimately they're 16 to 20-year-old kids, so they're going to make mistakes on the ice. Like, that's what we're here for, and we have to teach them, we have to develop them, and that's every day, whether it's game or practice. But you know, yeah, you might see me yell at a ref here and there. We're going to try not to do that as much this year and just let our players do our talking for us. In reality, the type of team we have built, that's more than attainable. So hopefully the fans are watching the entertainment on the ice more than the entertainment on the bench, but that's what we do.
Of course, we could go into Fargo and all be arrested too.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Right.
It's cheating.
When you watch games, like if you watch certain teams, I guess I always kind of notice. That's one thing I noticed, like last year, you'll watch some teams, it's just very like calm, nothing's really seems to be going on the bench. Like, are the coaches like mad at this kid because he just messed up and didn't do anything? And then there's other coaches that like look like they're losing their mind. So it's kind of like, just kind of fun to see how different, like there's coaches that are very like active and they're back and forth and up and down, and then there's some that like never move.
Yeah,
so it's just kind of interesting the difference.
Right? It's the personality of each coach, and usually the team goes out to play like that personality. So we're the Lincoln Stars, so we're going to be intense and we're going to be hard and competitive.
I like the intensity.
Yeah.
Some excitement going on. Well, I'm good on talking, but this is one.
That's
This
fine.
was one of my like favorite questions, and so you can kind of give me what you want out of it. But there's one thing that I was always kind of curious about. And I never really asked Travis or anything all the time because it's like, well, it might be your guys' thing. But what's the process on like motivating the players? I'm always curious, like, how do you get them like fired up to come out and ready to play? I mean, you're not just sitting down there just chilling, just whatever before a game, right? Like, is there a speech? Is there like what kind of things do you do to get these players going?
Honestly,
even for practice or everything.
The biggest thing you have to do, and it's not even hockey related, but you better build a relationship with these guys these days. You better build their trust, and you have to allow them to trust you too, that no matter what happens, at the end of the day, as a coach, I have their back. I'm going to go through a wall for them. I expect them to go through a wall for us as there's coaches, but the first thing you have to form is that relationship and that trust with the player, with the family, that, you know, now, when you're hard on a guy, he doesn't shell up, so to say. He understands he was hard on me because he cares about me, you know, and ultimately that's the first part. The second part is, you know, at the end of the day, it's they're going to get out of it what they put into it. There's a million hockey players out there at this age that are good enough to move on. It's the guys that start weeding the process out. It's the guys that are self-motivated to show up when there's nobody in the building Monday through Thursday. This place is dead quiet when we're practicing. Can you motivate yourself to do what you're supposed to do because it's the right thing? Or do you need constant, you know, attention? Do you need to be pushed constantly? What we did through the draft is we got to know our guys, and we got to know that we have a lot of self-starters. And guys that are self-motivated, and guys that you won't need to everyday prod and, hey, let's get going, let's get going, let's get going. They just show up to the rink because they know this is part of a job for them. If they want, you know, getting a college scholarship means a university is paying for your schooling. That's a job, you know, and if you want to go play pro hockey, it's a job. It's fun, it's the best job in the world, but at the end of the day, it's a job, so you have to understand how to motivate yourself. But then as coaches, you have to, like I said, there's ebbs and flows of the season, there's dog days, so, you know, you have to make it fun for them too, and if it's been a long month and we play, you know, 10 games in a month, there's no reason to keep them out on the ice 2.5 hours a day and beat them up. You know, let them go play some smaller games. And if we have a 3-3, maybe it's a little bit, hey, like, give them something to play for and something extra. You know, if it's in the end of December where they're looking forward to going home and seeing their mom and dads and their girlfriends and their buddies and all that, like, you might have to dangle a carrot here or there, but The special teams, the teams that we believe we have, don't need the carrots dangled in front of them. They're self-starters. They're motivated to be a pro. I mean, you saw it. You had Travis away from the ring too. You see his daily habits, right? That's a kid who wants to be a pro. So a lot of it comes from within, in my opinion. But from a coaching standpoint, we have to build a relationship with them, with their family, so that they can trust us, we trust them in a way we go.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is, like you said, a lot of questions you get from the NHL guys or the college guys is how they prepare. And we like to be able to answer, they prepare like a pro. Now, what that is how well they can self-motivate themselves. And the guys that can do it on their own are the best. So you look at guys preparing in a different way. You look at a Dominic Mersch who was bouncing off the walls, just high-strung, wanted everyone freaking out with him. A guy like Travis Traylor likes to go in a private room, headphones on, and meditate for 10 minutes, isn't going to get up from that. So you kind of have to let them do it on their own. And goalies prepare differently. Goalies are odd. They prepare differently than everybody else. But I think in Nebraska, what people like to see and where that question kind of stems from is you see the football team and they're in a big circle and they're bouncing up and down and they're going crazy and they're coming out, which is really, really cool. But they play 12 games. You can't do that for 80 or 60. Right. You know, there's peaks and valleys where you kind of have to control the emotions. And there's times we come in and say, these guys are sleepy, this would be a bad first period, and we're up 3-0. And it's like, where did that come from? Then there's times you go out to, oh, these guys are ready, and we're down 3-0. So it's kind of up to them on where they're at. It's their mindset, but you just hope that what you're doing is right. You want to steer them in the right direction, but you can't predict it.
So they all kind of have their own sort of motivation. It's not like,
right.
Oh, good, let's have a good game, boys, and go on out.
Now what you hope,
know what I mean?
That's all
like
it's me bragging.
Yeah.
What you hope now in today's USHL, where we're playing a lot of teams back to back, is that first game is their motivator. So, you know, it's tough, you know, on a Saturday, if you won 4-1, it's tough to motivate yourself. Okay, we got this. I think we ran into that this year, or last year, and it's tough to say, today's a completely different 60 minutes.
Right.
Today's a different
and
day.
It is. It's always it's different.
Because you don't know what they're giving the team in the other room as a motivator.
Right.
So it's a complex thing. And what's, like I said, the age gap between 16 to 20 is different. And some of these guys are just learning how to do it, but they're learning from guys that are 20 that have done it a couple years in the league, and that's where leadership comes in. And that's where we shouldn't have to come in and do that. Now we have, but it's a fine line on what you can do with kids.
Well, but you can see during games, like, you can see, like, if they're losing, like, momentum or something. So, like, what if you're, like, going into the third and you're down by 2 or 3? Like, what's it like? Like, what do you have to do to, like, change the momentum or get them back into the game, to stay fired up, so to speak?
There's you know what's weird about that is there's games where we looked at each other where we're down 3-0, and we come in between the first and second, we got this. There's no panic. You have that feeling that we've had some bad puck luck, we've had some bad calls, you know, and we've had guys that obviously we didn't put the best effort in energy-wise, but you can feel it on the bench if anyone's panicking or they're not. You know, like, we'll come down between the second, okay, as a staff, we're not telling them that, but we got this. It's weird how it works. But then there's games where you're down 3-0 and you're like, okay, we're not coming back from this deal. But, I mean, you should have taken that first, but it's weird.
It's situational, you know what I mean? Like, for example, our last game in Green Bay, we're down 4-0 after the first period, and I literally followed the team into the locker room just hey, let's calm down. And I remember looking, and guys are just like, we got this, coach. Like, okay, I trust you. Go out and get it then. And we all know what happened the rest of the way that night. But there's been times where you come in, like Corey said, like you challenge them. You know, at the end of the day, you got to hold these guys accountable. If they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, they have to know that. If they are doing what they're supposed to be doing, they have to know that. You have to communicate with them. You have to hold them accountable. But like Corey said, with this group that we have, with the leadership that we have coming back, I don't know how much the coaches are going to have to motivate more than the leadership group is just going to have these guys dial it in moment to moment. And it's our job, like Corey talked about, winning Friday, and sometimes you let off the gas. Well, hey, guess what? Like the other team that you beat, they have some pride. So like if you beat them Friday night,
Yeah,
they want to
they're
kill you
coming back.
Saturday.
Yeah.
So you have to be ready to go. But that's our job through training camp and in the build of this season is every day is a new day. I don't care if you had a great practice yesterday, it doesn't mean anything today. You know what I mean? So.
Right. What about that one?
Yeah, I was like, you talked a little bit about holding players accountable, and Ryan wants to know like what you, as like a coaching staff, do to hold them accountable and kind of build that within the team.
On the bench.
Yeah, on the bench and in the locker room. Like, how do you do that?
Well, what do the players want the most? Ice time, right? So, at the end of the day, like this isn't, you know, it's funny because the old saying now, talking to some of my old coaches and stuff, like, you know, figure it out or go home. 20 years ago, we figured it out and we didn't have a choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, in what I'm trying to get to is you can't be the knee to any of these guys. You can't, you know, go off on a tangent and just freak out on them. But you can control their ice time, you know, and at the end of the day, if, you know, there's a certain situation, we're up a goal with 4 minutes left and we have to take the high probable situations and the kid decides to go off on his own page and be a little bit selfish, well, then it's my job to make sure that he doesn't see the ice the rest of that night.
Mm-hmm.
And to prove a point to the rest of the guys on the bench that you're either going to buy into what we're doing as a group or you can't be here. You're not going to play here. It doesn't work for individuals here. It only works for guys that are all in because they love that logo and they want to represent that logo as professional as they can, as first class as they can, and that means doing things the right way in every situation we're put in, on and off the ice. But as far as the accountability part is, we control their ice time. The players want to play. Every player wants to play. So if they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, then it's next man up.
Yep. Good. This one's a little kind of not toward a technical hockey. How did you end up in coaching? So you played college hockey at Miami, and you had a USHL career, correct?
Yep.
Was there a particular moment that led you to want to coach?
Yeah, actually, I can remember it vividly. It was after my second year in Green Bay. I went back home to Chicago in the summer, and I was working with two of my best friends who one I played with in Green Bay, one played in the North American League, but we were working in a sandwich shop downtown Chicago and just throwing sandwiches together for the guys, you know, coming from the exchange and stuff on lunch. And we're like, this sucks. Like, this is not for us, you know.
What am I
It's
gonna
just
do?
like, what are we going to do? And our old coach that coached us in Chicago in midgets, he was running these camps. And so he calls us, he goes, hey, why don't you guys come work for me? Like, just come work these camps. And I got out on the ice, and all of a sudden, dealing with these kids, and just to see the smile on their face, and, you know, I just started thinking, okay, like, my career is going to be done after college. I don't skate well enough to make a big-time pro career out of this, so reality started to set in, you know, and what do I want to do with my life? Like, coaching, being a part of hockey is absolutely, I have to. Now it was how? Well, coaching is the way, this is what I know, and you know, and coaching some of those kids. One of those kids was actually Ken McCoy. She was 7 years old at the time. Ken McCoy now, as we all know her, is the girl that's skating at the NHL All-Star game the other a couple of years ago, was a big face of women's hockey. Like, seeing her develop from the age of 7 to now has been, that's the best part of coaching, right? To see all those kids, and you start with them at 10 or 11, and then they're calling you at 22 to congratulate you on a job, and, you know, they're playing in the NHL, or they just got a big time degree in college. Like, that's, coaching was always the aspiration, and I'm just lucky enough to still be doing it.
So this kind of leads into, so the USHL Draft this year. This was the first time as general manager, head coach. What was that experience like?
It was, you know, it was different in a sense that I guess the eyes were looking at me for the final call, compared to my last 7 years in drafts in this league. But other than that, nothing really. I mean, the preparation was better. A, we had more time to prepare. B, I felt like we had guys that were more dialed in to operate our draft than I've seen in the last few years, which was extremely exciting from my perspective. And you know, I thought Billy and Taylor and Frank and Nick, and did an outstanding job developing the list, having the communication with the kids to make sure that, you know, we are getting the right kids, we are getting kids that report once we do draft them. And so it was a little different, like I said, from being the standpoint of, you know, putting on the final stamp on our pick, but other than that, it was a better experience because we were more prepared, and it was a lot of fun.
Good.
Yeah, that's fine.
We'll skip some maybe. This one's kind of for both of you a little bit. You can both chime in. Who are some of your most memorable players?
I'll let you go on that.
That's dating back. So 99. I guess every year there's a few, and for me it's 22 years, 21 years. I'm trying to remember them all, but guys that stick out. I remember Chris Fournier, Grant Patolny that year, Brandon Boczynski. A lot of those teams, but then you get into the 03 team with the Backus, Tony Ehrman, Lamoureux, Graham, all that whole team, Snowden. You remember those teams you win with. But I think every year there's guys that are unforgettable. Then you get into your whole other aspect of things, the fan favorites for a reason, for fighting. You get, Bull and Bullig and Fouts and Rennie. I was on the bench against Rennie, but I know Rennie well. He's always a fan favorite. It's tough because they all bring a unique thing. It's funny. Some guys, appear differently on the ice than what they are in the locker room. Like I get to be pretty close with a lot of them. And you see the sentimental side, you see the funny side, you see the pissed off side or the angry side. But like Jared Bull, I don't think he'd ever fought in his life until he did one time, his first time in Cedar Rapids, and all of a sudden, if you ask him, he wouldn't tell you he's a tough guy. But he figured it out, and he made a really good career out of it. So, you wouldn't expect that from him. And I think Zach Aston Reese, who, was the third line player here, he never fought either. I think he fought 3 or 4 times, one punched the guy, and then goes on. Has just a stellar college career. And it's fun though. I think there's a lot of memorable guys. I think if you looked at every team, I could say I forgot about him. He was the craziest guy in the team or funniest guy in the team. But I think that's what's the fun part of the USHL is that these guys coming in, a lot of them being away from home for the first time. You see them kind of opening up. Some of our Europeans, they come in, the Russians, and they don't understand sarcasm, and watching them learn sarcasm is funny. They don't get
that is so true.
So it's fun watching those guys.
We're kidding, Travis.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's a tough question because I've been around too long to answer. I have a list of 50 that are pretty entertaining, but each guy's unique, and you remember each guy for different things. But every year I have my particular 3 or 4 that tend to hang out in the training room all the time and rap and talk. That's what I remember them for more so than being on the ice. But you probably have a couple you remember playing against.
Yeah, no, I was fortunate. I played with guys that went on to have great careers in the NHL, and coached some guys that we get to watch on TV as well now. So, like I think Corey said it best, it's all memorable, right? Like we got the best job in the world, and even in the dog days, and you might lose a couple games or whatnot. Like we honestly have, in my opinion, biasly, we have the best job in the world, and to build these relationships with these guys, and then just see them grow up. Like Corey said, like when they come to this league and they're
kids.
Deer in the headlights, they first time away from mom and dad, like. Do you even know how to do your own laundry? You know what I mean? Like, are you making your own bed? Things like this, where they're like, what are you talking about? Those are details of life, right? So to help them learn that, understand that, that's what creates the memories, the bonds, through the good seasons, the bad seasons, doesn't matter. We're all human, and at the end of the day, it's, like I said, the best job in the world that we get to mold 16, 20-year-olds for their futures.
And it's fun just to laugh with them. I think they know when we're being serious, and they know when not to cross certain lines, but they also know when they can joke around, and we have a good time. It's fun, it's fun listening to some of their stories and them trying to push your buttons and that type of thing.
Yeah, well, they're kids.
Yeah.
Who's better at golf?
We've been pretty even.
You know what? We've been dialed in, like ties, one shot off. Like,
last year we were both awful.
Yeah.
We made some corrections, adjustments.
Yeah.
But yeah, every time we play.
I don't know, but if I wouldn't want to play us in a 2-on-2, I'll put it that way.
Right.
You know, and yeah,
Because if we're losing, we're gonna.
If Lopina's listening, you know, all those things I've heard about Lopes being this unbelievable golfer.
Come on, Lopes.
You know, love to go 2-on-2 with him.
Challenge.
We were both
on,
actually. What was impressive was we were both way up on Cody.
What was
on
more
the turn.
impressive though after that?
After that, then Cody wheels around with a 34 on the back and beats us by
8, 9, yeah.
But we made the mistake. I made the mistake of pointing it out.
You can't do that.
No.
You have to be subtle.
He went nuts.
You have to be subtle on the golf course.
He hit balls I don't think landed yet.
The golf gods are very nasty, let me tell you.
I've never golfed a
Suck at
day
golf.
in my life.
I've golfed, but I'm terrible.
But
It's better drinking than golfing.
Yeah, I was like, we'll do the snake and the rooster versus the coaches. And we'll see who can get drunk first.
Should we take Whitney and Bissonette on? Let's go 2-on-2.
I'd do that.
There you go.
That'd be a good time.
It's on.
Let's
If
go.
Let's challenge the Whitney title.
Yeah, Lori and I will be there just
We can drive
for
the cart.
Yeah, we'll drive the cart until we're too drunk. Oh yeah. We're
Next up, Corey is in the hot seat. It's his turn.
ready?
Ready?
Ron, can you make like a little like hot seat like graphic and like put it
Put a
over
seat on
them?
fire.
Put a seat on
Or
fire.
something. Okay.
All right.
So since you've been around for so long,
That's literally what it said.
how do you think this season will compare? And are you excited about the new staff and the incoming team?
Actually, I think that's the first thing I say when people talk about the Docs at LSC or how you guys are going to be this year. That's the first thing I say is I'm really excited about this year. I think we have a little bit different mindset, a little bit different culture. I think more towards old school Lincoln hockey than what it's been. I think fans will appreciate that. I think the size of the guys and the quality of the guys and their character is going to speak for itself. So I'm really excited as far as the players' standpoint. I think this is a summer where I've got to work with them more, as far as the workout programs and stay in touch with them. But every guy seems to be on point with it and excited to be doing it, asking great questions, and I think seeing advancements. So that's exciting. I'm excited to see them come into camp and see what they're like. As far as the staff goes, it's going to be fun here. I mean, Peruzzi's going to be a stud. I think just him knowing players already and the way we watched him work his stuff in the draft, he's on point and he gets it, and he's, I think, as energetic, if not more than us, which is scary. Yeah. So it'll be fun watching him work with the guys. I think everybody who's ever worked with Nick as a player have loved him, and they don't say anything. Everything they say about him is great, and so it'll be fun to watch him. And then watching Doggy, Sadeo coming in his first year as a coach, and being able to translate things back to the players, being a little bit closer in age with them and going through it in Lincoln, it will be fun to watch. And I know he's a sponge; he'll soak it up. But he's got a lot of great ideas too. Real energetic. I think just putting the reins on him a little bit will be a challenge at first in a good way. So I think there's a lot of excitement. But what I'm most excited about is Mike's taking over. It's already got a different feel, and I think everybody knows what they're responsible for, and they will be held accountable. But the players coming in. It's going to be tough. I think cutting down from what we have potentially to be on our team. The final 25 this year will be a tough decision, so I'll let him make that.
Good problem to have.
Yeah.
I don't know if a lot of the fans like know exactly what you do. Like you have a lot of jobs.
A lot
with
of job
this.
duties.
Yeah, I think they just like assume they're like, oh, you just take care of them when they get hurt. But there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff. Like, can you tell us about everything that you do for the players?
Yeah, I think I might be the one and only now that Billy left Omaha, but generally with a hockey team, you'll have a strength conditioning coach, an athletic trainer, takes care of all the medical stuff, and then an equipment manager does all, and then that they may all have an assistant. For me, I don't know if it's just OCD or the way I like it, but I was brought in. I started in Dubuque, actually, my hometown, in '95, and I played hockey. I had hip problem growing up. That's how I got into sports medicine. Got to college, thought I could have played more than I did in college. I only played 2 years and didn't play a lot, but I had a hip injury going on. And I never really had athletic trainers to help me out. So that's what got me into sports medicine, athletic training. I thought, well, there's something I can do. And when I finally found someone that could, it was kind of too late. So I was already interested in sports medicine and athletic training and pursued that route. And I got a call before I even passed my boards or graduated, 3 days before I graduated, from my old team physician in Dubuque, who worked with me growing up my whole life with my hip problem, and offered me a job before I passed my board. So I was excited to take it, go back to my hometown. I never really had to look for a job, and I was in Dubuque for 4 years before I ended up in Lincoln. So that's kind of the medical path. But I work for Lincoln Orthopedic Center, great group of docs, and probably the reason I'm still here is just I appreciate everything they've done for me, and it's a quality organization, and they treat all of us really well, and it's great job security with those guys. But I work for Lincoln Orthopedic Center as a sports medicine director, and then also in conjunction with Bryan Health, we have 8 athletic trainers that I kind of manage, and they all cover their own high schools. So I'm doing that pretty much on computer, phone, and all that in the background too. So it's not just the hockey team. And for a while I worked with the Salt Dogs. I still work with the Salt Dogs when I'm not there on a daily basis. But I was doing both teams at the same time, which was miserable. Salt Dogs is fun time, but when they go on the road, they go on the road. They're on the road for 12 or 14 days, and so I hired someone. Lincoln Orthopedic Center hired someone to help me with that. So I did all the home games for a couple of years, and someone else traveled. And then once the LSU Bryan Sports Medicine program came into existence, I didn't have time to do it at all. So I just kind of supervise that if I need to. So there's all that going on without the hockey, but then getting full day in with the Stars, a lot of it, I would say 90% of it is equipment. So I take a lot of pride and I'm very particular about their skates. It's a very important aspect of it. A lot of guys don't know what that even means, but there's a lot of different things you can do with the skates, and there's a lot of time that goes in with it. The ordering of equipment and all that stuff, making sure things fit. And then you got the medical side of it. So in the mornings we split up in groups. I'll start their strength conditioning programs with one group, and then group 2 will be in there getting their treatments and evaluations and all that good stuff, and rehab and physical therapy. Then we'll flip-flop. That group will go in and do all their strength conditioning, and then the other group will come in for their treatments. And if anything needs to be taped or coordinated with the clinic to get them in for x-rays, MRIs, anything like that, seen by a physician. And then once they're on the ice for practice, then I jump back into the equipment side of things and trying to do prep for packing for road trips, the upcoming road trips, ordering things that we're out of, or things that have broke, or trying to fix the goalie pad or something like that. But there's a lot that goes into it. Again, like I said, most teams have 3 of me. I choose to do 1, and the clinic allows me to be here all day, which is great. And I don't know, I guess.
But you take care of stuff like someone breaks a skate on the bench.
Yeah.
You fix it. You fix it right there.
I have today's technology has helped that quite a bit. I think I have 3 sets of steel for each guy, and they're all sharp and ready to go. So if a guy breaks steel or loses an edge on one shift, he can come in and I can pop his steel out, put another one in, and he doesn't miss a shift. Where in the past, they'd have to take their skate off, run it across the rink, depending on where you're at, redo it, come back. So, and that's, not all guys do that, but it's just something I think makes it easier. And it also makes it easier if we're playing in Madison one night and we have to get on the bus and we're traveling to Green Bay or traveling back to Fargo, and you don't get a chance to really do their skates, and so you can pop their other sets in and do it as you go. So.
Now do you guys understand why I said big loom?
Yeah. Makes a lot more sense.
He has like 100,000 jobs, I feel like.
Yeah.
Because, like, you make sure everybody, when you're on the road, you're kind of like the dad, sort of. Like, I feel like they're like, everyone's got their jerseys. Do you have all your equipment, your bag, your stuff? Do we have food? Do we have water? Do we have, like,
that's
you just
like
kind of
make,
you know what I mean? Like, you know how it is with kids. Like, my kids have gone all the way down here before, and like,
yeah, Mitch and Caleb help a lot with packing, which
Mm-hmm.
is great. They'll come in and help with packing, and that takes a lot of load off. And then after games, I know Mitchell and Caleb will stay and do laundry. That's the other thing that's nonstop. I'm doing laundry nonstop all day. So got their undergear to do, their jerseys, practice jerseys, game jerseys, towels and everything. But those two have really been really helpful the last 3 years in that. So I can leave now and feel confident. Mitch has got the bus pretty much ready to go sometimes, so he does a really good job.
Yeah. So when a player gets hurt on the road, what's that look like? Do you just be like, sorry, just gonna go to the hotel and chill, you can't come to the game? Like, I mean, I know there's bad injuries and minor and all that kind of stuff, but like, what happens if someone's seriously injured? Just like,
it depends. I mean, every team, it's a very professional team. I mean, every team has an athletic trainer and a team physician, and it depends. You know, if they're hurt before we leave on the road, we still bring them, because a lot of times a hotel is one of the best places I can use for rehab because they have pools. So a lot of guys can't be doing, heavy activity, but if you throw them in a pool, you can do a lot with them. So if we're doing a pregame skate and they can't skate, I'll give them a rehab to do in the weight room of a hotel, and then give them exercises to do in a pool. Or some guys can skate, can't do contacts, they'll come skate with us, and then they stay after. You can do treatment while I'm setting up the locker room. So it's really not a lot different. We travel with almost everything that I have here, so I can do whatever I need on the road. I travel. I mean, our bottom.
So they come along to still do their whatever that you need them to do.
The only time they may not is if, this year if they're sick. And in the past with concussion, sometimes in the early onset of concussion, the best thing to do is just leave them home without all the extra stimulus and the bus and noise and all that. But for the most part, they'll come. That way they don't miss a day of treatment or rehab. Like I said, a lot of times I can do as much, if not more, on the road than I can here. I have more time on the road to work with them one-on-one.
Yeah. What's the worst injury you've ever seen in a game ever?
I know.
You don't have to say who it is.
My very first game working in the USHL was in the Buck Bowl with Dubuque, and I still remember playing this day. I think it was the first 30 seconds into the game. I had a player come down on a break. He was the smallest guy on our team, and he got kind of hip checked, undercutted, going full speed, and he actually went over the net like full speed, and he hit head and neck first in the boards and glass behind the net. The net flipped over and everything on him. And again, this was my first preseason game, and I got out there. He was unconscious but came around. But when he came around, he had no feeling or no movement in arms or legs, which is scary. And we spine boarded him, got him off to the hospital. And I'm thinking, here's my first game. This poor kid's paralyzed, and it ended up being a lot less severe. He just had a spinal shock where it's almost it presented like he was paralyzed, but it was very temporary. And I remember looking at the phone constantly because I couldn't leave, so I sent him with the EMTs and some other team, members of the Saints at the time to the hospital to keep me updated. And of course, got his parents notified and all that. So I'm watching the whole time on the bench. He ended up being okay, but that was scary. I remember an incident in Des Moines where a player got kicked in the face, and it was from his ear to his nose, wide open, it looked like he had a second mouth. Now, it's not a severe injury. Cuts aren't that bad. I mean, those aren't bad injuries, but I'm thinking of things that were kind of weird.
They're the gory injuries.
Right. So he was on his hands and knees, and he got kicked, in the face, and he was pouring blood. And I got out and put the towel on, and I looked at it, and I had to keep a straight face, even though I'm thinking, oh my God, you can see him. This guy's, it was, from here to here is wide open. And he's like, it's bad, isn't it? It's bad, isn't it? And I said, no, it's not bad. Just a few stitches. And I kept trying to reassure him. And I get him up. I finally get him calmed down, reassured. He looks at me and goes, you're lying, aren't you? I said, no, why? And he goes, well, I was looking at the people in the front row, and they're puking. And they're pointing and puking.
Corey's like, you're fine, calm down.
So I said, no, you're good. And we had him calm down, and the trainer at the time in Des Moines, I know him well, and we usually bring a player into the home room to do stitches and sutures because everything's all set up in there and we have a sterile environment. And I looked at him and I said, shh, but this is bad, but I didn't want him to know. And it was funny because we just got him laying down, we're just preparing to suture him up, and the team doc comes in, and he takes the towel off his face. He goes, oh my God! and this kid, he immediately pops up. He takes off to the bathroom because he wanted to see it so bad. And he goes in basically into shock. He was like, "Thanks, Doc. I mean, we had him pretty much ready to go here," and it freaked him out. So that was an interesting one.
Oh,
I mean, there's been there's a lot of worse injuries than that.
Right.
But then the other one that I always think of wasn't in games. I had more severe things happen in practice. But I remember back in the day, Steve Johnson, we never had a day off. He Sundays were optional, quote unquote. But then he'd ask me. Of course, I'd have to be here. And so they were optional, but he'd tell me, "You don't have to be here." I said, "Steve, if something happens, I have to be here." And he popped in because he was jogging and running, and he popped in to see how things was going. But the optionals, he'd ask me, but he wasn't there. "Well, it was optional, Steve." "Yeah, but who wasn't there?" You know. So these guys all went, and they went hard, and he happened to be there on this Sunday. And he was standing up. This is when we had the bleachers, and I was sitting up in the bleachers, watching for once. And he said, "You don't have to be here. Just go home. Just go home." And some guys were screwing around in front of the net, and one of the guys was laying on his hands or laying on his stomach. And next thing he pops up, and he's holding onto his arm, and he's skating to the gate where we come off. And I'm thinking, "Oh great, this kid dislocated his shoulder, just laying there." Is where he was carrying it. But then when he got to the door, he took off his glove and he poured out his glove like milk, but it was blood. And I looked up, and it's just shooting out of his arm like a fire hose. So he's going, we get him, and unfortunately we got to go all the way down the steps to get the training room, in the locker room. He's just sandblasting the hallways in blood, going down to the training room.
What the heck did he do?
He severed an artery.
Like somebody cut him?
Yeah, someone stepped on him. So he ended up having massive surgery. He severed a few tendons, 2 arteries, a couple veins, nerves, and so it was a big deal. But we get him down to the training room. He's still painting my white walls in the training room, and so I just looked up and happened to see a blood pressure cuff sitting up there, and I grabbed that, put it on his arm, at least got it to a slow trickle. I had just bought a brand new truck, and I wasn't going to wait for the ambulance, and so I got him all wrapped up and stopped, and the blood pressure cuff's on. I remember getting in the truck and saying, "Okay, we're going to go fast, but hold your arm up."
Wait a minute, I can see Corey being like, "Don't bleed on my truck."
That's exactly what I told him. So he's got his arm out the window, and he's trying to hold it, and we're driving down 9th Street to Bryan as fast as we can go. But then there's been a few with the head injuries where they're just funny. We had one, oh my God, he got hit, knocked out. He was knocked out for a couple minutes on the ice. We get him back downstairs, and this happens a lot. But we get him back downstairs, and Dr. Reckmeyer was a doc down there, and he's got a great personality and humor. But I think this player asked the same question every 15 seconds for 2.5 hours.
Oh.
Did I get hit or something? Was I out there? Did I get hit?
Oh.
And so we'd say, "Yes, you got hit, you got knocked out, you're back." "Oh, okay. Did I get hit or something?" This went on for 2 hours. And eventually they come out of it, it was really delayed in how it came out. And I know the guys that were sitting out that night were having a lot of fun with them. They were down there messing with them. And, they were getting frustrated because then he'd start trying to remember things, and we'd give him 3 words to remember, and he'd get the first 2, and you could see the players in the background, banana, they're mouthing it. And then he wouldn't get it right, and the players go, "Oh!"
It's like a game show.
Yeah. They were rooting for him to get it right, but he couldn't get it. Or he'd start out, I think the words were race car, shovel, and banana. Or he'd start out, we'd give him, okay, he just said it. 10 seconds later, okay, what were those 3 words? And school bus, and the players just leave. But those are scary. The head injuries are scary.
Yeah,
they can
it's funny but not funny.
At the end, it's really funny. Like the next day talking to him, and he doesn't remember any of this. And I know some of the guys were videoing it on their phone and shit. That was funny. But there's been some, I can't think of all of them, but there's been some.
Yeah.
Some things where you're on the ice and you have to kind of keep your composure, thinking this kid's career.
Well, that's what I mean. That's kind of leads to another question. I'm just ad-libbing now about that. You're always so, someone's bleeding on the ice and Corey's just whatever. Always.
Yeah.
It's tough for me to go.
You're always good about not, you wouldn't want to freak him out.
Right.
Because if I'm bleeding all over, I'm panicking.
It was tough for me because, my son played hockey and football growing up, and, I'm out covering our organization, covers youth football events and Lancaster youth softball and soccer and all that stuff. And you know, me being at games, sitting in the stands with parents, I couldn't do that. I had to walk away. And now with Tammy's daughter playing soccer at a competitive level, you know, I get all the questions from parents and all that on what do we do with this. But it's tough during a game when you see someone you obviously know they're faking it, or they're staying down to draw a penalty, and you got 15 fans running to the glass of the sidelines and they're freaking out, and you're just looking at them, it's fine, they're fine. This player might be 8. They're 8 or something like that, but you know, like, but now, you know, watching, you know, like with Kenna and Tammy on the road and watching some of these teams we're playing against, especially with soccer, and they're taking dives, you see the parents running on the field. It's tough to control not saying something, but yeah, you have to be calm.
We got to keep them calm if they're really actively injured.
Right. And that's the biggest thing. And what I tell my players is we don't want them laying there. Like we don't like the diving. I mean, dive for a second, but then get up. And what I can't stand is if you get out to the ice or the field and you get to a guy and they get up and they go past you and they're all mad and upset. They know I will flip out if that happens. I don't want to get all the way out there and then have them do that. But if they're the scary part, if our guys are on the ice, they're hurt. And so if I know they're down, they're down. Whether Kerry Eads moves us or not, but I got into it with him one time. But usually we don't condone laying on the ice to draw penalties and that type of thing. So when they're down, first of all, I'm thinking, okay, we're going to lose this guy for how many weeks now? We're going to see, and then making sure that. First, you have to go through the life-saving stuff. If they're unconscious, make sure they're breathing and all that. And haven't, knock on wood, haven't had anything that drastic happen. But you're just trying to think what the next step is. You get this controlled, and then what's the next step? And then usually on the rink, it's okay. How the hell am I going to get them off here? Because a lot of these guys have too much pride. They don't want to get on a stretcher. They don't want to be wheeled off. They want to go off. And if you watch me too, if there is a fight, my guys, even if they broke their hand or they're bleeding bad in the penalty box, I'll never send anything over to the penalty box. I'll never go to the penalty box. We don't want to make them look like they lost that fight, so we'll deal with it later. That's other things.
There's Corey. Someone's face is ripped off, and he's totally calm.
Yeah.
And then
he's just like sit in the penalty box, hold a towel on it. We'll talk about it in 5 minutes.
What's funny? My funniest thing is at camp last year, like I heard some kid coming off puking, and I don't know if he's like in the hallway or like what, and Corey could just hear him, and Corey's just like, go to the bathroom, nobody wants to hear it. It's like just savage Corey comes in, it's hilarious. I'm like, this kid's sick, and he's like, stop doing that in the hallway.
I can deal with blood, I can deal with brains and broken bones, I can't deal with puke, so they're on their own with that. That's their own stupidity. Get in at night or train harder and then stop puking.
What's worse, puke or eggs?
Eggs. Unless you ate eggs and puke.
You don't like eggs?
I hate them.
I hate eggs too. Have to agree with Corey.
But
I love eggs.
There's an argument at my house with Tammy because Tammy doesn't like chocolate.
I don't like chocolate either.
You guys didn't help my cause right now. Now I'm gonna get shit for that.
Tammy, we got you.
Yeah, we got you.
So
bro.
yeah, she doesn't like chocolate and I don't like eggs. So I live with a bunch of girls, so they all think I'm weird because I don't like eggs. I think not liking chocolate is.
I can't stand eggs.
I love eggs. Now I have avocados at home. I might go home for lunch and make avocados and eggs.
But I know when Mike's and Cody were mad at me because they pile on this scrambled eggs at breakfast. And
make you sit next to them.
Yeah, the skates were,
That's never
just
happened.
No,
no, there's another thing. Skates are always.
Well, I was used to, we won't go there. Corey, was that? It's not my fault. And he's right, it's not. So they must have stepped on something on the way up.
Bad ice.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
Sabotaged.
Can't be soft ice anymore. The ice box. It's hard. Frozen.
All right, how do today's players different from like the 90s players?
It's a good question. I think the league in general has gotten, and Mike's, you can jump in here anytime too, but I think the league in general, top to bottom, is a lot more skilled. I think it's a lot more professional. So I think every player is the speed and the style of today's play is a lot different than when I first started, but back then they were men. I mean, it seemed like every guy had a beard. I think every guy was mean, every guy was pretty big. So I think somewhere, you know, we went from being really big and really scary to everyone can play, everyone can skate. And one thing in Lincoln, I can say that all of our tough guys can always play. There wasn't just a tough guy that couldn't play. Well, we had one, but he didn't last too long. But I think that's the biggest difference. I think it's more skilled, it's faster. I think players as hockey players are better from top to bottom. Not saying that back in the day your top two lines weren't unbelievable, because they were, and maybe even in some cases better. But the kids were also sticking in the league for 2, 3, 4 years for sure. It wasn't this one and done or play before and after. But I think as a whole, our teams now, if they walked into our 99 team or 2000 team and watched those guys come in the locker room, they're scary looking.
Well, some of these kids look so young. I'm like, are you 12?
Right. And
they look so
I think back then they all looked older. You know, and my daughters say it, my son and my daughter say it too, because, you know, they grew up seeing all of them, and my daughters now is way over them. My youngest daughter is now their age, but it's like, they always look so much older and more intimidating back then. But I think they really did, but even because they were younger, it made it that much worse. But I just think that's the biggest difference. The game has changed so much as a whole, with some of the rules and all that, but I think, you know, the USHL has become a lot more professional in the league, and I think the skill set is, from top to bottom, is better. But our teams in the past, our guys wouldn't want to really run into them in a pickup game.
No.
You know, but that's all around. No. That's not just the Stars. That's
right. That's a league thing. Yeah.
No, I guess my point in this one is, 20 years ago, I'll use myself as an example. When I came into this league, I didn't have a college scholarship. I came to this league and I worked my way into the league, and then when I got to the league, I understood that, listen, one day off might cost me this job, and there's another kid that's going to come take my spot, so you can't let it slip. But the whole goal is to come to the league to get your college scholarship, to prove that you're worthy to go on and play Division I college hockey. And so I think back then, guys were a lot more hungry to prove that, and then the guys that are coming in now, like you just look at the rosters of the Fall Classic per se, right? And you see all the college teams that are committed, all these players. Well, when he came to the Fall Classic 20 years ago, I mean, that was college's favorite weekend, because everybody was a free agent, and now they're starting to understand who do we want, and who are we going to go after, and certain guys now feel that they have to come to the USHL because their college told them to go play that one extra year or whatever. So you're kind of fighting that. The game is way better today than it was 20 years ago. I mean, I remember working on drills, trying to go on a forecheck through the neutral zone, and I got a guy literally with a stick around my waist or my chest holding me up, and you can't do that in today's game, and it makes for a better game now. But I think society's a lot different, obviously.
Right.
And, you know, kids probably have it a little bit easier than we all did, but I think the generation before all of us can say the same thing about us, right? Yeah. So it's that growing, it's obviously
things always change.
It's always changing, but it's our job to adapt to them and give them those reasons, give them the motivation that we talked about earlier.
Right.
Yeah, you have to motivate guys a little bit more, I think, now than you did 20 years ago.
Because they were either wanted it or they were
I was terrified of my coach that I played for in Green Bay, and quite frankly, when he calls me, I still, like, what did I do yesterday? Like, hey, sure, I'm on the straight and narrow, like, Oz is calling me, I can't be messing around here. You know, and I think guys were probably like that with Juds, and guys were like that with Hasty and Omaha, and you know, it's different now, but we can adapt, and the hockey's better. It's more entertaining to watch. They're way more skilled, they're faster. It's funner to watch. Today's game now, what would be I think heaven for all of us would be to mix in the guys that were here 20 years ago with today's style. Skill. I think everybody would then be in heaven.
I think one of the biggest differences is guys now, though, put a lot more into the off season, and they're in shape. Like these guys work hard, but they have to, because if they don't, they're going to be left behind. Or more back in the day, you know, the guys were just good. They were just good. They didn't work that hard. I think they like to get out and be
what
more
was it called? Training camp. They showed up to get in shape at the beginning of the season.
And now, you know, if they're not, we're all over them. Like I feel every time I hit send on the computer, I feel guilty for what I just sent out because it's not easy. And I wouldn't do it. I mean, yes, I would, players. You should be doing it. Do it religiously. But looking at it, like, but they have to now. But back then, there's no, I'd look at that going.
They just take the whole summer off and be like, whatever.
Yeah.
I got good hands. I'll just rely on that.
Yeah.
You know, but
Right.
today they're all in good shape, and obviously there's just been advancements in technology and different things too. But I think guys are more dialed in now too on their equipment. They just hand them a wood stick and they want to play and tomahawk each other. And now it's, if it's not a 77 flex, it has to be a 75.5 flex, and realistically, some of them can tell a difference, which is pretty amazing. It's some of it's overkill, but they're spoiled.
Right. Okay, Instagram question for you.
Okay, I don't do Instagram.
How much body lotion did John Snowden go through in his time in Lincoln? I don't know
I don't
what
understand
that
that one. Yeah, I don't understand.
I don't either.
I
We were
can
hoping
say-
you didn't understand.
I can say I'm upset because I just noticed John Snowden came through the rink yesterday or 2 days ago and didn't give me a call while I was in town. It's snowing, but he messaged me. But yeah, I don't get that question. Only thing I know
It was
about
from John Paul Lamoureux.
really.
So
I didn't put it on.
I don't know what that means.
I didn't put it on.
I was like, well, we thought it was
hope not,
funny. I'm
Corey.
like, we have to ask this because there's got to be some inside
Lambs has got to
joke.
call me. Lambs has got to call me and
We
fill me in
don't
because
know.
I'm old. I don't remember every little thing. I do
Somebody
remember.
have a
That sounds
ungodly
like
amount of body lotion.
It could have. I know Snowy was the most superstitious player we've ever had, no question, and it drove Johnson nuts. Like I remember Johnson being in a bad mood one time, and Snowy used to set his gloves up on the ground in front of his stall, his skates a certain way, his stick a certain way. I think Johnson didn't believe in the superstition stuff. Johnson was all hard work, and he punted that stuff. I mean, I think he would have made a 48-yarder at Nebraska Field for sure, field goal. He punted it. He said, just learn how to work hard instead of relying on this superstition BS. But
Can you imagine?
That sounds pretty similar to you. With
Oh, yeah.
all of our superstitions.
Right?
oh, I hate that.
We have
But
weird.
anyway,
Yeah.
I don't know. Landlord's got to call me or remind
Yeah.
me
I don't know. I'll call him. I don't know what's up with that. We thought maybe it was some inside joke that we didn't know
It
about.
could be, but I might have forgot about that one, or needed to forget about it. I don't know.
No,
All I know is I
you
didn't put
forget.
lotion on Snowy.
He blocked that from his memory. All right, other fan questions. So,
Which 6 players would you put on your all-star team?
I'll let Corey take that first. Well, I'll take that because
Let's
you've been
see.
here a long time. It's not really fair to you with all the guys you've been around. But I guess my question is, who are we playing against?
You two are playing against each other.
Oh, so I'm going against him?
I just decided.
No. Like the reason I asked that question is it's like, are we going into Omaha and we have to set the tone right away? Because if that's the case,
let's go with that.
then
Yeah.
I'm probably throwing, Reynolds, Bowling, Bull, McKee, Wolf, and probably Reekie as my 6 out
Jeez.
there, and I'm gonna let them dance. But yeah, if we're going into Dubuque and playing, Johnny Gaudreau, then we might have to throw probably Fournier and Bolshansky because I played against those 2 guys and I was sick of, fetching the puck out of the back of our net. And probably, hold on here. Let's go, I'll probably have Ledoux on the back end, Bartkowski on the back end, Lamoureux in net. I need one more forward though. That could be a toss-up. All the studs that have come through here, but have to do with Backus or Ehrman, their proper due as well. So that's a loaded
kind of
question because there's a lot of studs that
You're forgetting an obvious one on the front. If we're going into play in Waterloo or in Dubuque for skill, you gotta throw Kevin Waugh.
There you go. I knew I was forgetting someone.
Waugh, looking at Fournier, Bolshansky. You'd have to do a second. You have to do a Backus or Batone.
Oh yeah, I'm biased to Fournier and Bolshansky.
Yeah, Fournier for sure. But then I look at guys like Preston Callender, like that way back in the day.
Oh, yeah. Same team as Fournier.
Jason Gregoire. I don't think I could do it. I'd feel guilty if I had to do it. I'd do a whole team maybe, but I don't think I could do it.
And no offense to guys that
No,
I've coached
that I
for
can't
the
think
last
of
3
either.
years. Like, don't.
It's just fan question.
Yeah.
I want to know.
Yeah.
Next fan question. What style of hockey should fans expect to see next year? Are we going to be defensively minded or mostly offense in the middle? Or in the middle?
That depends who we're playing too.
Well, yes, it does, and we're going to have our identity, I guess. Our identity will be, like I said, we're competitive. We're hard to play against. We're going to be going through people at all times, but my big thing with players these days is without the puck, it's ours. What I mean by that is this is how we're going to play without the puck, and there's no negotiation. We're going to defend. We're going to defend together. We're going to defend fast because we don't want to spend time defending. We want to have the puck, and we want to go play on offense. And when we do have the puck, it's theirs. You know, make plays, have fun with it, put pucks in the net, get bodies there, keep it simple. But fast, in your face, aggressive, old school Lincoln Stars hockey in today's generation.
Awesome.
No, I'm still thinking of players. Then you got shiny tape.
You can go on for
Shiny
days.
tape. I
We could have like what's that fantasy league or whatever.
Oh,
where we
yeah,
pick, like,
that'd be fun.
players or something.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
We should do like an
It's all
office.
using Jimmy Sears on your touch.
Like, who would
I mean,
win?
You can go through.
You can build any kind of team you want. You know what I mean? Like that's the special thing about this place is all the special players that have come through here.
Okay, this one is a 3-part question for Mike's. How many penalty minutes did you rack up as a player?
Not many.
Not many?
No, I had, again, when I played in Green Bay, I had guys like Matt Green, Adam Burrish, and Nate Gannon, Jake Taylor, Matt Jones. Like I didn't,
Yeah.
you know, I could go whack a guy and laugh about it because they weren't going to get to me. You know what I mean? Probably had around 100 probably in this league in a couple of years, and I don't know, not many in college. College isn't as fun as the USHL as far as trying to rally up the troops.
What about how many penalty minutes as a coach?
Minors, I've had one bench minor my whole 14 years of coaching.
Alright.
One bench minor. Now I've had a couple game misconducts dished out to me after a game. So, a few.
So
Get money's worth.
do they count, like, is it minutes for a coach, or how do they even track that? Or is it just the actual
Dollars.
Alright, then let's rephrase that. How many penalty dollars have you had as a coach?
What does that equate to in dollars?
We're in the $1,000 range, but nothing
Well, that's not bad.
It's not like
What's your guess of penalty dollars this season?
okay.
This is fan questions. We didn't ask.
I did not come up
Fans
with
want to
Okay.
know.
And I love that question. Now, and I think some of the fans have probably seen me at my best and sometimes
Well,
at
this
my
just says
worst.
coaching, because this could maybe be a whole
But here's the
staff,
key.
not
Yeah,
just you.
coaching.
I might look like the quietest guy on the bench next year because I got Nikki, who, like Corey said, could be more energetic and intense than we are. And then, like I have a guy on the other side, Mike, who went around the building policing the ice surface for 2-3 years, and he knows what he's doing. So, and the guy who goes unnoticed is this guy right here. Like he's not a saint on the bench either. You know what I mean? But it's like he knows when to put that shot in. You know, but no, it's.
Can you get penalty minutes?
Yes.
You can?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Our PK better be dialed in this year. We might be serving a couple extra penalties here and there along the way, but again, it's when you build a team the right way, you let your players do the talking. So that's one thing.
They do talk to the coach
we
or
are
the
gonna be
refs a lot.
cognizant of.
Oh my
I
gosh.
see players talking to the refs
We
all the
won't.
time.
No. I'm not saying that. Like, we're not talking. Our actions will do our talking.
It was like Lori and I sit in the away penalty box every game. I do second period, she does third. And the stuff that I hear makes me think of when I played college soccer or even like high school, and I'm just like, God, I was a dick to all those coaches and refs. Like, I was awful.
The players sometimes I'm like, how old are you? What is coming out of your mouth right now? It's entertaining though.
happens.
It's funny.
Heat of the moment.
Yeah.
They did say they were in the visiting box. So that's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
It's busy box.
the one time
Our
I
guys
was
say
in,
please and thank you.
Yeah, I went with the opposite.
They're pretty. I mean, obviously not in there all the time, but it's pretty quiet, honestly.
well, I always bring an extra hot dog because one time Travis said that he was hungry the one time he was in the penalty box, so I always carried an extra hot dog just in case. And then he was in there, and then he was in there one time, and I was like, "Do you want a hot dog?" He goes, "No, Mike's will fucking kill me."
I'm glad he knew.
He knew. We're gonna eat the hot dog.
I ate it.
Okay, this is from Tanner.
Okay.
Oh my god.
You can both answer. What's your favorite cut of meat, and how do you like it cooked?
Bone in ribeye, it's gotta be medium rare.
I'll say the same thing, but medium.
Okay.
Back in the day, I would have had rare, but now.
So
What was this
Tanner
little thing,
Tanner
like-
would say anything above medium rare should affect your credit score.
Yeah.
So you just got knocked on your Tanner
Well,
credit
then you
score.
know what? My wife is in trouble because that well done nonsense that I have to serve at
Ew.
home is not. Sorry, baby.
I was there. I started there. I've worked my way down to medium,
Yeah.
but that's probably my max.
No,
Tammy
medium
likes
rare.
hers bleeding, and my dad likes it as black as our jerseys.
Yes.
It's tough to grill. No, but I'm kind of more along the lines. We're on the same page. I like it medium rare, but my dad, it's like a puck.
So see, you have to put it on 15 minutes before ours go on, you know, if you want to do it right.
Yeah.
Not
Are you
know that.
teaching your children to like their steak the right way?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mine are all gone except for one, and she doesn't eat.
But did
She
you
eats
teach
chicken.
them?
Well, no, I guess. Well, Kenna eats steak. She likes medium rare.
Okay.
We actually had an honest conversation at the dinner table a little while ago when I had grilled the steak, and you know, my wife brought out the A1 sauce, and my son Logan wanted to reach over to put his hand down. It's a very honest conversation right then and there that we don't allow the A1 steak sauce to touch the steak. You know what I mean? Just eat the steak.
Yeah.
So
What's really tough right now is cooking the veggie burgers for Taylor. That's tough.
you gotta get a Blackstone.
I love veggie burgers.
I know, but it's tough to.
I love me a good medium rare steak, but I also love a good Morningstar spicy black bean burger. Those are the best ones.
That's what she eats.
They're so good.
Good question,
Thanks. No thanks. Okay, Sarlo. For both of you.
This
Ready
would
for
be
this?
Interesting.
If you and Corey got in a fight, who would win?
Us against anybody else?
No.
No, you
No,
against each
one on
other.
one.
Like
It depends
UFC,
on the-
you guys are in
What?
the octagon.
I don't know why he wants to know this. Is there something
No,
Because it's Sarlo,
It's
stir in the
Sarlo.
pot.
First of all. Hold on to this,
Stir in the pot.
Sarvis, alright? You're coming back this year? Anyway, no, it
That's just
depends on
game six.
it depends on the situation. Like what riled us up. You know what I mean? Because if it's something that I was messing with him and it really pissed him off and I was laughing about, he would destroy an opposite. You know what I mean? Like
And if I would have walked in unexpectedly when you were in the refs room the one time, I don't think anyone would have stopped you.
no. No. I wasn't in the ref's room. I
Room
was in the hallway.
outside.
I was in the hallway. I didn't venture in there. We had a great security staff at the time, not letting me in. But yeah, it depends on like how bad have we raged.
That was a
you know what I
fun
mean?
time.
So, but
We're both
that's a good
really
question,
calm.
Stars. You know,
We've
Yeah.
calmed down over the years, so we're really.
I don't know if I believe that.
I
This
just,
is my first season, and every time I look over at the bench, Mike's is like bright red, and he has like a vein, and Corey's just like like I don't believe
it's funny. My wife will say she knows how our team is playing by my vein.
Yep, same.
She's a good hockey fan.
Okay, but we still don't know the answer to that question,
Yeah,
Sarlo.
sorry, Sarlo.
So,
Yeah, we're not
yeah.
giving you everything here, Stars.
I don't know. I'm not sure why.
Hey,
I want that.
if he comes back for another season with the Stars, maybe Corey and I will give him a show and we'll answer it for him.
Okay. All right, he can referee.
Yeah, come break that
Make him
power
break
play
it
goal
up.
record, man. Come on.
No,
He's on-
Sarlo's just
he's
gonna
on
sit
first.
there and just like chirp him the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna listen if he doesn't do that. So.
Okay, it's like we start off with our weird stuff that we like to do. We always end the podcast with a game. It's
Oh,
easy.
boy. Here we
You
go.
ready?
It's Would You Rather.
Super
The
easy.
game is Would You Rather. So you have
Okay.
to just pick.
Should we go every other
Yeah.
Do you want to do Mike's or Corey?
I'll do Corey.
Okay. I'll start. Mike's. Who would you rather have back from last season, Barbs or Treeler?
That's. I don't like this game.
Hold on.
You have to answer.
That question came from trailer.
How about both?
No, it actually came from Ron.
How about both of them?
No, you have to pick one. Would you rather?
That's such
This is why we play this game, because we make it like
Really
we made
hard.
Tanner pick between Crown or Busch Light.
That has
You didn't know what
no
to do.
relevance to the question you just asked me. You're talking about two of my favorite players at home.
We're talking about two
And I
of
have to
Tanner's
separate
favorite
them?
alcohols.
They're not all hockey related, so don't worry.
Yeah, don't worry.
Well,
This
Just
is
you started with the hard ones.
I'm going to start with.
Yeah, dig yourself out of this one.
I can't watch. I'm gonna go with Barb's. She made a better decision, and you know what I'm talking
Oh,
about.
I know what he's
I'm gonna
talking
leave
about
it
too.
right there.
That was.
I know what he's talking about.
So, Trav,
Oh.
you had your moment. Sorry, brother.
Sorry, Trav.
All right, Corey. Would you rather be at the ice box alone at night or in a cemetery alone at night?
Here because it's where I am all the time, but yeah, it can
Can
be.
it correlate though sometimes?
There's weird stuff that happens, but I'm comfortable here. I know my escape routes.
I know how to get out.
Cemetery would just flip me out. No way. So
So the
here
ice
for
box?
sure.
Here for sure.
Even though you're never quite sure what you're gonna get.
Will
It's
you-
creepy in here at night. I'm
Will
sorry.
you come on a ghost hunt with me and Lori here?
No, you guys are on your own. I know.
We're the
I know them all
weird.
personally.
Okay, skip to a one non-hockey one.
Okay. Mike's, would you rather take a guaranteed $100,000 or have a 50-50 chance at $1 million?
50-50 chance in a million.
Mistaker. I like it. Okay. Would you rather be a boxer or a UFC fighter?
Boxer. I'd rather want to know how to UFC fight because it's impressive. It's crazy. But if I can just control the one thing and that's your fist and without worrying about a foot and my arm wrapped around my neck and dislocate, I'd rather know how to UFC fight, but I'd rather fight a boxer.
I can teach you
You're
how to
fast.
box.
Yeah.
It's fun. Okay. Would you rather not be able to taste ice cream or pizza?
Ice cream. I'm a Chicago guy, man. Like pizzas. Yeah. Ice cream. We can live without it.
True.
Would you rather have a time machine that only goes back in time or a time machine that only goes forward in
Back
time?
for sure. I change a lot of
But-
things.
Radio!
Okay. Would you rather have a fast team or a physical team?
A physical team.
Makes sense.
Okay, only two left. Would you rather be super strong or super fast?
I'm old. I have to go super strong. I'm not going to be wheeling around too much.
You don't have to. You
Go
don't want to.
fast on a golf
You don't have to
course.
run
Yeah,
fast.
exactly.
Are we gonna have to get you a scooter to go on the ice? Okay. Mike's, would you rather age from the neck up or the neck down? Only, just like one or the other.
Neck down.
Neck down?
Yeah.
You'd rather age neck
Gotta
down?
keep the moneymaker.
Yeah.
You can cover up everything else, right? Where am I? Oh, would you rather go hiking or skydiving?
Nuts. I'm scared to death of heights.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That was a good
We
question.
go hiking
Yeah.
all the time. We go hiking all the time. I know Tammy skydives, but I would never, ever in a million years
I would never do anything.
jump out of a plane. I can't put Christmas lights on my own house, so I'm not skydiving anyway.
I'd have to agree. Well, I go stay on the ground. What do we have
Okay,
left? We have a
Mike's.
couple left. Oh,
Yeah.
ask him.
Yeah. This one?
Yeah.
Oh. Would you rather be 4'5" or 7'7"?
It's not bad being 4 or 5.
No. I don't, 7-7 maybe on the basketball.
You're already
player.
like almost there.
Yeah, I work for Yao Ming or whatever, right?
Okay, then last one for both of you.
There you go.
Would you rather drink vodka or whiskey?
What kind?
Doesn't.
Are we talking well, or are we talking like premium?
No, premium.
You
Premium vodka
call.
or premium whiskey?
You call vodka or whiskey.
Vodka. Right now.
I mean, your favorite
I'd
vodka
say-
is right over there.
Yeah, I just looked over it and it
Yeah,
just
staring you in the
so-
face.
It's tough to argue with Pink Whitney, and the whole vodka meal thing is good on a hot day, but
So,
every night I'll have whiskey. It's just
Should
sit.
we bring the Pink Whitney in here?
What kind of whiskey?
Give a shout out to Barstool Sports.
The good kind. I got a great Father's Day gift. She got me like a wine club thing, but she got me the whiskey thing. So you can pick out a whiskey or a bourbon. It comes in a 750 bottle, and it comes with 3 little flasks of different kind, and it keeps coming.
Oh,
It's
is
fun.
it like
That's
the?
nice.
It's like the Fab Fit
That's
Fun,
like
but
a
for
good
booze.
idea.
Oh, it's a great idea. She got me a wine one earlier, and now I got the whiskey one. Now, then you can figure out what you like and order. Bourbon, cognac.
Should
Hold
we
back.
like split?
You do that.
I don't know, but I have to say, like, Pink Whitney, thank you to business.
Yeah, that-
because
Yeah.
they've helped through COVID.
I'm working with New Amsterdam,
Yeah.
so
We
wait for
appreciate
me
it.
to call me back. Yeah. Perfect.
We're trying to get a shout out from them, so
Yeah.
maybe your passion for Pink Whitney will help us.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Open.
Hopefully.
Okay, that's it.
All
You
right.
You
survived.
survived the hot seat.
Good? Bad?
Good.
Yeah? Alright. We made it.
We did.
Good interview.
Coaches and Corey survived.
Could be our best one yet. Hopefully everybody
Yeah.
tunes in.
Yeah, that was a really good one. We got a lot of insightful things
Good
for
stuff.
the next season, and
Can we officially say we did the first official interview
with Coach.
with Coach?
Yeah.
Like,
You
that's
heard
what
it here
we're
first, folks, with the Snake and
Yeah.
the Rooster.
We're starting his interview career off right here
Yeah.
on Snake and the Rooster.
When he coaches in the NHL, he better just contract us to only do his interviews.
He's
Because
he's a good interviewer.
yeah, he was.
Yeah.
I didn't know how he was going to respond. Like, the only conversations I've really had with him have been in meetings, and he's just like, no, we're going to do this, this, and this. And then he walks away. But he was pretty chill.
Yeah. It's a good interview. Good
Yeah.
questions. We got the fan
Yeah,
questions.
thank you so much
Which was
again
nice.
for those.
We got
Those were
those in.
great.
What else do we have in closing today? I don't think.
Yeah.
We talked about Journey to the Stars already.
Yep, stay tuned. Hopefully we're going to be announcing our promotional schedule soon.
Yes.
We've been working super hard on that. We have so many fun things happening. So stay tuned for that.
What other events do we have coming up? Just Journey right now.
Cosmic Skates.
Cosmics. Oh my God. how can we forget
Cosmic
that?
Skates.
They're back, everyone.
Starting
next Friday.
Yeah, July 17th,
Yes.
7 to 10 p.m. We have, what is it, DJ Steele?
DJ Steele.
DJ Steele in the house.
Yes. So
Yeah.
come check it out. They're finally back. We'll have the lights down with Cosmic Lights. Bring your skates, or you can rent them. It's still only $5
Only
to enter.
$5, yeah.
We'll have some
Snacks.
snacks available.
Yeah.
And then the DJ will be here. So come request your Madonna, whatever you want to listen
Yeah.
to.
And
Or your
if you would be
Starlight, Starbright.
love that song so much. Can that be our theme song?
I roller skated that all the time when I was a kid, so
Can that be our theme song? Madonna.
maybe. Ron?
Ron.
Put that in the background for us, would you?
Yeah.
On our podcast when we're fading out. So,
Yeah.
everybody come down and check that out. Plus, we have our roller skating every day during the day.
Yep.
So, even on Fridays, you can roller skate during the day. Ooh, donut deals.
Donuts. If you like donuts, every Friday.
Buy 2 skates, get a free order of donut holes.
Yep.
So come on down Friday and see Nate.
Yeah,
And
they're
get
super
some
good. You
donuts
can
and
get
skate.
some cinnamon sugary goodness on them, or
Very
powdered
delicious.
sugar. Oh my gosh, they're so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have more going
Lots
on.
of fun
Wow.
stuff happening now
We're
that we
getting
can.
back a little bit at a time. So come check it out. We'll have some social media posted on all that good
For
stuff too.
Cosmic Skates, online tickets. Is that how we're doing it?
I I don't think so yet. I'm gonna figure out how we can. So
just know that we do have limited capacity with everything. So if you want to come skate and don't want to be turned away for Cosmic, get here before 7 o'clock. It's my only advice.
We'll work on some sort of
pre-registration, something
you
like that.
You can get online though and get the waiver. Your roller skating waiver on our website. Just get on there and get that done, so you can just have it signed and ready to go when you get here. So you don't have to fill it out, and you can turn it in, and you can fill a little thing out to check it to
last until December.
Till the end of the year, so you don't have to fill it out when you come back every Friday.
Yep.
So check it out and call us if you have questions, and we'll be back in another week or two. We don't know who our guest is yet. We haven't figured that out.
Yeah.
So
thanks for tuning in to Real Talk with the Snake and the Rooster.
Bye.
Bye.